Hello guys, my name is Ruby Lee. Welcome to this video. I want to discuss today what happens after you make a sale in terms of money and finances. I made a video last week about what I've done in terms of setting up a good system around managing my income flow. I've been in business for 8 years. I coach coaches on how to make sales. And, I've just been in such a wonderful position where now we're managing millions of dollars and have done so for the entirety of the company. But I want to break this down into more of a, everyday sense of what do you do when a sale lands? And how do you set yourself up for success? More of this conversation needs to happen with coaches and definitely coaching entrepreneurs, because what I tend to see is that a lot of you are really smart, driven individuals, intellectuals. You may have come from academics, you may have come from corporate. You're, really well paid for what you do. You decide, I'm going to start my business. And then what happens is you start your business, but you don't think about the financials. And sometimes what happens is you end up in feast or famine. And secondly, you end up saying to coaches like me, you're not sure where all the money goes and why it feels like you're always, kind of chasing your tail and why profitability seems little to none. So I want to break down something. It's a bit of a boring habit, but it's the reason why it works so well for me and my clients that I teach. And this will eventually become a bit of a habit that is automatic. And that is where good compounding habits will happen, and it will set you up and your business up for the future so that you're not constantly feeling like there's nothing on the other side of all the time and energy that you put behind your coaching company. Okay, so let me show you exactly what this looks like in real life. I wanted to pull up a sale that, is quite common that we seem to get quite a bit. And this is really fun. So this was Audrey was a customer. She bought the low ticket to high ticket pathway for $67 and the playbook for $19. Now, please take note, some of these were bought during the early bird season, sales season, so the prices may not be exactly as what you see here, but I just really wanted to pull up an example, and this is the one I grabbed. But I want you to think about the moment this drops into your inbox, right? More than likely you see this and you go, yay, that's amazing. Someone's bought something from me. I celebrate every single one of my sales. Big, small, enormous, a little fun $7 offer. All the things are being celebrated. There's something that we do habitually with every single sale that comes in. And it's just like I said, it's really given us a nice pathway to success. So here's our total order. It's $86. Now, the good news with how our payments are set up is that the platform fees come before the money even lands in our account. So this is typically either a Stripe fee or a PayPal fee of some kind. So that's already done and dusted. We don't need to worry too much about that side of things. So this is literally the net amount that's landing in our account, which feels great. But here is where a lot of coaches stop doing the math or really misunderstand it and think it's $87 in your pocket. And that's often where the problem really starts from a financial perspective. So the first stop, I'm just going to write this nice and big, is hello, Mr. Taxman. So as a simple rule of thumb, and please keep in mind that I've got a different tax bracket to you guys. I live in Australia. You might live elsewhere. Your taxes are going to be really different. So just as a rule of thumb, we personally set aside, let's say 20%, maybe 25% at most for every single sale that comes in. So on $86, if this is what we're going off, that's anywhere between $17 through to $21. That is purely money that we don't touch. Like the moment the sale lands, I am mentally moving that into a separate account. It doesn't get touched. It's not our money to spend in the first place. The tax man has his claim. In my head, it's already gone. I would rather not have that sitting in the major pool of money where I can spend on stuff, because I don't want to be caught out at tax time, which, luckily we never have been, but I've heard my clients and they've been absolute horror stories. So I want to say a huge thank you to our sponsor for today, pay.com.au. One of the actual practical things that I've changed this year is how I have been processing my business payments. We're talking all about expenses in this episode, but I want to share with you an actual platform that I use, which is pay.com.au, how it's changed the way that I look at payments, and it's not in the way that I expected. Pay.com.au is a business expenses business platform. And what it does is it lets you pay all of your business expenses. I'm talking about software subscriptions, your team payments, your insurances, even those large tax bills. And you earn your full credit card points plus optional pay reward points on top of every single dollar that you spend. They are partnered with 16 plus travel partners that you can redeem with. And here is what has really got me. I am actually already paying these bills, right? Like I can't hide from them. They're not optional. So the idea is that I could also be earning points on top of every single one of them. This is just a smarter, honestly, more vibey way that I run some of the outgoings that I already have going on. And with end of financial year literally just around the corner on June 30, I am personally looking at what expenses I want to run through pay.com.au before the financial year actually closes, so that maybe by the end of it, I've got a beautiful flight or some, great things that I could claim as my reward. So definitely go and have a look at pay.com.au. We have a very special deal that the team have given us. When you sign up with the code FLOW10, you will actually earn 10,000 pay reward points when you access $10,000 or more in your first 30 days. The link is going to be in the description below. Please go and check it out. I genuinely recommend you guys checking it out, especially if you already have a lot of business spend that's coming up before the end of financial year. Let's head back to the episode. I look at my business costs in this way as well, and what would come from this. So I have my assistant who I love. Everyone say hey to Deb. Deb has some costs, and she's someone who helps me out across the business, admin and some content, podcast editing, just getting the things going behind our company. So that needs to be also factored into every single sale that we make. Now that is a real cost and it needs to come out of our real revenue. So when I think about what my team costs me each month and then I spread that evenly across my sales, even a small sale like this one is carrying, definitely some sort of a portion of that as well. So by the time I've done the maths, honestly, that $86 net sale that you can see here, it does have a real profit number underneath it. And that is completely fine, because when you understand it, the problem is when people really skip this step entirely and then they feel really hard done by, or they feel like they got by the government, when really, it's kind of been very transparent from the beginning that I'm going to put this here. We need to pay it, okay? There's no going around it unless you want sort of, Martha Stewart situation. Okay, now let's look at $5,000 payment. I know I've got this guy sitting here somewhere. Actually, maybe it's up here. Okay, all right, Sheila. Thank you so much, Sheila. Sheila's bought a private coaching package from me. It's a $5,000 USD payment. And this is always where it gets really interesting seeing a chunky number like this. And I know a lot of you deal in 3K, 5K, 10K increments for your programs and your offers as well. So let's just pick one, $5,000. It hits your account. Your nervous system just goes, it's so nice. And it relaxes and it feels so exciting. You've got a fantastic new client that you just signed. And, this is real results, right? Like you've put your message out there. It's resonated with an amazing client. They've said yes. And again, this is where I see a lot of coaches who might just see the number. They fall into a level of challenge and where they get into a little bit of trouble because they see $5,000, they feel the flush. Then they go out there and they start spending the money. Hopefully that's not always the case, but you're paying the bills or you're just making ends meet, and something like this means a ton. And I really just want to bring this to light because I don't want you to make decisions from that feeling. Instead, I want you to make a decision from the actual number that lands after you've considered things like the taxes, okay? So, again, we're going to work off like a 20% to 25% tax margin off the $5,000. So that is immediately off $5,000, $1,000 at 20%, $1,250 at 25%. So you see this now, right? It's a non-negotiable. It's money, again, that does not belong in your pocket. So the actual net amount that you're able to really look at, again, depending on whatever your tax bracket is about that much. That's still very nice. And then you can factor in like what you pay your Deb, what you want to put into ads, what are you putting into your business account versus, what are you spending on Meta ads and branding or whatever the thing is, right? Software, the tools that's really helped you get to where you've got to now. And I just really want you to look at this so that you're not like afraid by any means, but I actually see this as like, this is so empowering. It's like, okay, well, I know my numbers. So on a $5,000 payment, I'm genuinely knowing what I'm working with, and this is good, breathable profit. And yeah, I just hope that this has helped you in some way, because I really want to be so clear about something. Like, I don't want to put these numbers into play and discourage you from, I don't know, like starting a business or making sales. I'm truly just sharing this because I wish someone had shown me this earlier in my business. And luckily, as I mentioned in one of my other videos, both me and my husband, who work on the company together, had come from corporate, and we had seen that. And if you haven't seen this and you just have this idea that when you make a $5,000 sale, it sits wholly and fully in your pocket, I just want you to be ready. I want you to know exactly what to do with the money when it arrives. I want you to make smart financial decisions. I want you to think about the money that you're also spending through your business and the platforms like pay.com.au that you may be using to get more rewards as a result of that. You can make your financials go a lot further, and it does change everything. Every dollar you earn is not always a dollar that you get to spend, but the profitability behind it is. And that's the exciting part, because you start to operate from a place of real financial sovereignty. And what that means is that you're making really solid, good, grounded financial decisions, rather than feeling like you're scrambling at tax time and things like that, or like your accountant is calling you and hollering down the phone going, hey, we actually need this money because it's due on this date. We've got our tax time coming up here in Australia on 30 June. We've been so much more intentional about this than ever. It's expensive to run a business. There's a lot of costs out there. So why not, be more intentional and study your money a lot better and be much more careful with it in one sense. Like, yes, we get to manifest so much and we get to call in even more sales. And that is my intention for all of you. Like, guys, I really want you to make more sales. Like, I personally get so excited seeing low ticket payments flowing in all day long, not just for me, but, I have a mastermind. And inside of my mastermind group, we have a group chat, and we have weekly like wins and sales or daily wins and sales. And people are constantly saying, oh my God, I just made a sale. Like, I had a message just yesterday from a client of mine, Linda, and she shared it with the whole mastermind. Like, guys, someone's just gone to my shop and has bought everything and went on like a full-blown shopping spree, and everyone was in there just going, yes girl, like just congratulating her. She's based over in Africa, women from the UK, from the US, Australia, just celebrating. And these sales are such wonderful confirmations that your message is doing such a big job out there, that you're making massive changes in the lives of people. And sales are a reflection of the work that you do, and it is so beautifully rewarding. When you see those come in, it's one of the best feelings in the world. And I want that for you. And I equally want you to also be good with your money. I mostly women watch this channel, but guys, gals, I have a really big heart for you guys to stay afloat in your business, to be in business for a really, really long time, not just, for the short time that you're getting these like quick massive wins and then it all falling apart because you just can't get your finances right. So let's make that best feeling in the world go a very long way. Hit subscribe, because every single week I'm going to show up with a video to literally help you make more sales, things that I'm working out myself in my own business, things that are working for my clients. So definitely please do that. I appreciate your support on this channel so, so much. Also hit the like button always, and my comments are open to suggestions. So if you want me to speak about something or teach you something really specific about how daily passive sales actually works for coaches and or education-based entrepreneurs, please leave them in the comments below. In the meantime, I'd love, love, love for you to go to the video that is over here. I'm going to show you one step that you have to make in order for your daily sales to just thrive this next week. See you over there.